Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about living in a van versus living in a conventional RV slash motorhome. And this is kind of for people that are just thinking about getting into the lifestyle and they're not really sure of the choice. What's the best choice? Now there are pros and cons to each. And I'll see if I can explain some of what those are. Now, first of all, if you're at all handy, I don't really consider myself that handy, but I'm not, maybe a bit above average. If you're at all handy, you could take a van and you can build it into basically anything. Unless you have tons of money, you can do a better job for what you want with your own hands than buying it off of buying an RV off a lot. You're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, I see RVs with like $30,000 for, that's a low end used one. Unless you buy like a really old one, to like $300,000. It's just incredible how expensive these things are. And I paid $6,800 for this van that I'm driving, and you know what, it works for me. So let's get into some details here. There's a couple major issues that you got to consider when thinking about van versus RV thing. Number one is plumbing. I don't want black tanks. I don't want gray tanks. I don't want to have to deal with dumping out raw sewage. Not only because I think it's gross, and at some point you're gonna have to clean that stuff, but also because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend $15 or there are places where you can go around here that are apparently $6, but they're all the way out in Surrey, which is like a good half an hour drive, and then you have to pay bridge tolls and everything else, so it ends up being about the same price anyway. So I don't have to deal with emptying tanks. So that's a major benefit of building your own van, is you don't have to deal with stuff. And the thing is, I take a shower at my ex-wife's, or I'm gonna go take a shower at the gym or something like that. Eventually, when my kids are older, I won't be able to go to my ex-wife's to do that stuff. And that's okay, that's fine. I'll just get a gym membership and do it there. It's no big deal. But some people, they need a shower twice a day, and that's the other thing. When you have an RV, you have to empty that tank often. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you get about 4 showers out of it. And man, so what, are you going to get 4 showers a week and then you got to empty your tank every week? That is just another thing. I don't know. I'd rather just go to a gym, personally. So plumbing, so you got showers, then you have the toilet. The toilet is something I've thought about too, and I am grossed out by the method that I use. Is I just use a 3-liter laundry detergent bottle and I just pee into that, and then I put it in a sealed plastic bag and I bring it into a public washroom in my backpack and I dump it on the toilet, and I dump it every 2 or 3 days depending if it's full, and I have 2 just in case one's getting really full. Then I'll go to my backup one. And at first I tried various experiments. I mean, I tried like a 26-liter container. Was it 26 or 10? I can't remember. It was big and it was a real pain in the butt. It was heavy and it was gross because you're dumping out liters and liters of urine, and it's gross. Anyway, I solved it. The compromise that I've worked out is just to use a 3-liter container and dump it every couple days, and it seems to be working for me, and I'm going to stick with that. Other issues, van versus RV. The van just seems to be built better to me. I mean, you see these RVs and they're worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, I went to this RV show about 6 months ago, And then you go into these things and you check it out, and it's just built not very well. I mean, you sit on the bed, and it's as cheap as possible bed you could buy, and it just feels like junk. And like you could just tell by the way things are built, it's just this cheapo, MDF board wood they're using, and I don't know, just not well built. So I'm not a big fan of the way they build those things. Of course, if you're buying a larger RV, like a Class C, or even some Class Bs, I guess, they got the whole stealth issue, and harder to park. The other thing is you have the issue of harder to park. I mean, this van is hard enough to park when I'm parking in a parking lot and I gotta park between the two white lines. It could be challenging. I guess I'm not that great of a driver, so, and parallel parking and all that, it's not easy to park, and it's way harder to park than a regular car, that's for sure. But if I had a big Class C or something, like an RV like that, you got to be really hunting for spots to park that thing. It makes things more difficult. So what are some other things? So you have the cost of building it or buying it already built. You have the toilet, you have the shower. Basically the biggest thing is heat. To me, has always been heat. And right now I'm seriously debating about whether I should buy the Dickinson Marine P9000 propane heater, the one that if you used to watch Justin Incredible's old van videos when he had his Dodge Explorer, that one that he had was the P9000, and I might get one of those. I just might, but I don't know. I tend to I'm gonna think about it some more. Let's just put it that way. All right, another consideration in terms of van versus RV motorhome is fuel economy. Now, an RV or motorhome is going to be way more costly on gas. Even moving from my old cargo van, standard 150 cargo van, to this van, which is like a Chevy Express 3500 with a high top, I've dropped probably 2 miles a gallon. Now, I can imagine going to a Class C that would drop probably to like 8 miles a gallon. And that makes a big difference. It really does. You're talking like $50 or at least or more a month in gas. Now, another consideration is if you plan to mostly park it in RV parks, and some people do that. They live in their RV in an RV park, and that works for them. The RV is probably better. It's more comfortable, and you have all your hookups, your sewage and your electricity all there, so your needs are taken care of in that way. But for a guy like me who is a 100% urban van dweller, an RV would definitely not work. Way harder to be stealth, way more expensive in gas, harder to park, and then dealing with emptying tanks, not for me. Another consideration is maneuverability. Yes, it's more difficult to park a larger RV, but there's more to it than that. There's a British fellow in the UK, can't remember his name. It's like Van Vlog something or other, I can't remember. Sorry, buddy, if you're watching this. But he has a beautiful van that he's been building. He's just finishing it up. He has a tongue and groove. It's a standard European van, Peugeot or something like that. And he just put in a wood stove. It's actually very similar to the ideal setup that I like. But he used to have a regular RV. And he said that especially in England, where the lanes are really narrow in a lot of the villages, he was getting really stressed out driving that thing. And even in the city in North America, I mean, I can imagine if you're in downtown traffic and, people aren't used to driving around RVs, like the people, not you specifically, but the other people in the other cars, it's got to make things more stressful. So it's another issue to consider is actually driving the thing. So speaking of driving it, the other consideration is if you're living in your RV or your van as your daily driver, it's much easier to have a daily driver as a van than an RV. Um, it's much more convenient. Of course, you got the issues of parking and maneuverability, but overall, it's just going to be a better thing to drive a van than an RV. Now, in terms of, there's some pros for the RVs, of course. I mean, it's going to be more comfortable. You're going to have much more room. If you have a pet, like a larger dog, it's much better to have an RV. Just because, they have more room. Everything's done for you. I mean, building this van out is going to take me, because I'm working full time and I'm doing it on evenings and weekends when I get the chance. It's taking a long time. I started this in February and I don't expect to be done until September. And that's only because I got some time off in the summer where I can really go at it as well. So building a van takes a long time. Like building it properly, it's going to take a long time. Whereas an RV, it's all done for you. Sure, there might be a few things you can change, like, and make it better for yourself. Like Justin Incredible tends to do that. He's not really building it. He's just tweaking things, like adding a nice TV, putting the stove in, changing some aesthetic stuff, lights and stuff like that. But when you're actually adding insulation and building walls and building partitions, it's a lot more involved. And so that is a big plus of going the RV route. If you're not handy, I would almost suggest going that way, the RV route, or even buying an older Class B that's going to be cheaper and hopefully well maintained. So anyways, guys, those are some points to consider. The pros of the van, I'll try to summarize this here. It's going to be cheaper in gas. It's going to be cheaper to buy. It's going to be better built because you're going to do it. You're not going to have to deal with emptying black tanks and gray tanks and dealing with all that. It's going to be more stealthy. It's going to be easier to park. It's going to be easier to maneuver in the city. And let's see what else is there. That's a lot of pluses. Overall, it's going to cost less money. And if you are a single guy or a single girl, it's definitely the option that I would choose. Now, the pros of the RV, it's going to be way roomier and more comfortable. If you have pets, or if you are as a couple, like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or husband or wife, or even kids, RV is definitely the option to go. I couldn't see living in a regular van with another person. It's too small. Other positives of the RV, what did I say? Everything's all done for you. So you don't have to build the wall. You don't have to insulate it. Although I would add insulation. A lot of RVs aren't very well insulated. So yeah. So I think that about wraps it up, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care and have a good night.